Good morning, everyone. It is 8 a.m. and I just want to welcome you to class facility operations, Tuesday, September 28th. It is week 4 of the class, of the course. So you've made it this far, which is good. You've all probably by now handed in your assignment number 1. I've had well, I guess I should, before I go on, I should mention that this is being recorded like usual. Each week I do record and post it. So let's see, admit, let's let a few more people in the class. Well, it's been a pretty good start to the week so far. I have not finished marking all the assignments yet, but what I will have for you is by the end of the weekend, so by next class, you'll have your marks up for the assignment number 1. Plus, you'll see any of the in-class assignment marks. They'll be all up to date. So I'll be looking after having that all in place by next class. So it gives you an idea of where you're or how you're doing on that first assignment. So that's good to know. It looks like people are still slowly joining. We've got about 17 people, including myself. Hopefully you have your coffee or your tea ready to go for this morning, or maybe your hot your iced coffee or something like that. Maybe you're at your desk. I'm at my desk this morning in Aurelia. Maybe you're at your desk at where you're living, or maybe you're still lying in bed. We're not quite sure, but it is good to have you here this morning. I know I did get a bunch of different questions about the assignment. Hopefully I was able to answer them. Andrew, I'm hoping you had a good move on the weekend. You're all moved now into Ontario. And let's see, what are we going to talk about first thing today? Well, I want to check in, find out how you are doing today. All right. So hopefully you're awake, listening, and your mind is somewhat working, but I'm going to, because probably one of the things that, you spend some of your spare time with is watching movies, watching shows on Prime or Netflix or whatever, HBO or whatever your favorite streaming app is. But today I'm going to ask you how you're doing, but today please use the title of a movie to tell me how you are doing today. So let's see, possibly an example might be that maybe you're feeling like Groundhog Day, where every day just keeps going by. It seems to be the same day over and over again. Or maybe you feel like maybe it's The Hangover. Maybe you had a few too many drinks last night, and today the movie you'd be using is The Hangover. I'm going to put down. One sec. So think of a movie here. I got one here. This is what I am feeling today. So don't be shy. Fennell, how could you put the exact same movie I put down? That's really, really strange.
I just watched the movie yesterday.
Actually, I spelt it wrong because it is have a Y in it, doesn't it? That is too weird. There's millions of movies out there, and we picked the exact same movie. Is that not funny? Anyways, that's come on, there's got to be more than that movie out there for now. Okay, at least you put something down. Sirkin's writing something. Weird stuff. That's just weird. This guy, okay, I'm gonna give you some other, maybe you're feeling, here we go, The Truman Show. Okay, The Truman Show, that was with Jim Carrey, right? I think, where he was in like, everything he did was on recorded or being watched, yes. That's a weird one. It is a different type of movie. And then the No Time to Die, Arm Deep. Okay, I'm waiting for that movie to come out. When's No Time to Die come out? But that's a good way to feel right now. It's just like, there's no time to die. I got work to do. Okay, well, we have 19 people in the class. I'm expecting a few more than 3 responses up here. Brandon, a series of unfortunate events. All right. Thanks for being creative, Brandon. I did watch that movie or those movies. I think there was one, Squid Game. Don't know Squid Game. A few more of you must have some ideas of what movie title you are feeling today. There are so many movie titles out there. Be creative. Don't be shy. Just write something down. It'll be okay. Shining. Not the killing part, though. Thanks, Jack. I'm going to tell you a story. Was you guys are writing some more Inception. Okay, very good. Well, I was came home from a bike ride. I'm loading my stuff out of my car, and I have all my crap there: my water bottles, my backpack, my whatever else I have, my phone, my glasses, all this sort of stuff. And my son gets out. He goes, "Dad, I need to use the car." So I got to go. Limitless. Thank you, James. He goes, "I got to go. I'm buying a phone today. I got to go get it." This is a true story. I said, "Okay, fine. I got my stuff. Go." It's because he's meeting someone over on the south end of Barrie. So I get in the house. I go, "Oh my goodness, where's my phone? I can't find my phone. Maybe it was on the stand in my car." That's what I was hoping. You guys can get some more movie titles up here. I know you can do it. So as he's gone, just go with it. Good stuff. I like that. Just go with it. Sort of like just do it. All right. So anyways, I'm out there in the house looking for my phone and going, I don't have it. It's like, I hope I left it in the car. Because sometimes I put stuff, I'm just busy. He's picking up the car, going, he said he'd be back in about an hour, okay? As soon as he gets in the driveway, he goes, "Hey, Dad, do you have your phone?" I go, "Why?" He goes, "Well, I'm trying to call it because I just got my new phone. I want to see if this works or not." I go, "No, I think I left it in the car." He goes, "It's not in the car." I went, "Oh, this is not good." We go out to the car. It's actually on the roof of the car. It's not stuck in the roof racks or anything. It's actually on the back of the car. There's no lip or anything, and it's just sitting there face up. Sitting there like this. He drove all around Barrie for an hour, and the phone did not fall off the car. I was a little bit of a freak out there when he pulled in and he found the phone on the car. That I felt I was very lucky that day, because definitely could have lost a phone going down Bayfield Street or wherever. So I'm feeling a little bit lucky. That could have been the series of unfortunate events right there. But I am in the pursuit of happiness. Anyone else have any movies they want to share? Any other names? How about La La Land? Maybe you just feel like things are like, oh, like you're just their heads in a daze. All right. Some of you maybe don't watch movies. Maybe I find that hard to believe, but there are, there's over 20 of us on here. We got a few people, a few students, a few people in the class to share. All right, well, let's see what we have here. We are going to talk about assignment number 2, because assignment 1 is over, and let's just, I'm just going to pull up assignment 2 because that's where you're going to have to focus for the next little while. When you're working on this assignment, it's let me just stop sharing my screen here, and I'm going to share this screen. So I did make some changes to Blackboard yesterday. You may not be able to see this. Hopefully you can. If you have Blackboard open, I just added a few tabs in here down the left-hand side. So announcements are still announcements, syllabus, and weekly online link. So that's what you're going to find right here. So I don't know where you go to find your link each Tuesday, but it's right there. Faculty information stays the same. Weekly learning. These are just the chapters, right? Just the chapters. And then there's weekly recordings. I put them here just to sort them out from the weekly learning. I have their own tab now, weekly recordings, and then in-class assignments, which you can see are going to be listed here, and then assignments and tests, and the other ones, I haven't really used those ones at this point, or I won't be using those ones too much. Okay, so let's go to assignment 2. Let me stop sharing this. Hopefully that setting up Blackboard like that will help you guys find the things you're looking for. Yeah, I know you have multiple classes, so just wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to find the information. And I'm just opening up 2. I must say, everyone is very quiet today. All right. Let's see, assignment 2. There we go. So, oops, make that a bit bigger. So assignment 2. So what we're going to kind of do with a little bit of a twist right now in what we're learning is we're going to be looking the next few classes. We're going to be looking at designing facilities. Okay. So we kind of went from the sort of an overview, foundational portion the first few weeks, talking about core product extensions, ancillary spaces, that sort of stuff, and just general touching on a lot of things. So now, as we get into assignment 2, which is due Friday, October 15th, okay, 11:59 EST. And if you look at that, that means you have 2.5 weeks.
Hi.
Hello.
The screen is black. Like we're not able to see any documents.
All right. Well, let me see if I can fix that. Thanks for letting me know. How about now?
Yeah, it's visible now.
It's okay now? All right. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so 2.5 weeks. We know that we're looking at, and then it's right after the long weekend. So Thanksgiving is the 11th of October. So that week we'll have a class on the 12th. It'll be due on the 15th. All right. So we are switching our focus more on constructing buildings right now and that sort of thing. So when we're looking at designing your ultimate facility, it actually is designing your ultimate facility, your athletic facility, your recreation facility. So use your imagination. Okay, you can, whatever, maybe you're into riding horses, so you want to design a horse riding arena or something like that. Or maybe you're into skateboarding, so you want to design a skate park. Or if you're into, I don't know, swimming, so you design something to do with like swimming pools or training. Or maybe you like to go to the fitness center or a gym, and you design your ultimate fitness center. So, or it can be, you know, as elaborate as you want it, or as interesting as use your imagination. Maybe it's you're not very active and you want to design, I don't know, movie theaters. I guess you could say movie theaters are a recreation facility. So use your imagination. If you have any questions about your topic, about your facility you want to design, or please, you know, ask me. So we are going to be talking, so there's basically 3 questions in this. Okay, you can see the breakdown is 20 marks for number 1, 30 marks for number 2, and 50 marks for number 3. And this assignment is 20% of your total mark. All right, so the first part is provide a project statement that should include only the objective and basic assumption. Okay, and we will talk about, I'm not sure if I'll talk about this week, but I'll figure out if we can squeeze that in today or not, just to give you an idea of what the project statement is. The project statement has about 7 or 8 different areas. I'm just asking for the objective and the basic assumption. Okay, so that's pretty easy. I'll tell you what that is later today, I think. Okay, provide a budget to build this rec facility center equaling more than 15 million. So it's not just going to be a, I don't know, an outdoor skate park that's, you know, maybe like just something small that it wouldn't have any, I don't know, maybe wouldn't have any change rooms, or it wouldn't have a concession stand or something like that, but equaling more than 15 million, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Use the attached template, which I'm going to show you in a minute, to develop your overall construction budget. Include a list of desired areas in your recreation facility center. On your list of areas, include square foot or square meters of each, which I'll explain all that. When calculating the cost of each area, use the price of $200 per square foot for indoor facilities and $50 a square foot for outdoor facilities. So I will explain this to you. You're going, I have no idea what you're talking about. $200 a square foot. I don't know what that means. I don't know what $50 a square foot means for outdoor facilities. I will explain all this to you. Okay. I also, we will be doing something like this in class next week. Okay. So our in-class assignment next week, we'll be designing some facilities. Okay. Develop and supply a site plan blueprint of your facilities. On your blueprint site plan, be sure to include at least 5 of the specific sections, and we're going to be talking about blueprints today, of important information to assist in understanding the document. These sections include the title block, direction indicator, drawing index, scale, drawing title, drawing area, notes, legend, schedule, symbol, keys, and cross sections. So these are areas of the blueprint that we're going to be talking about, and they are in the slides for today. All of these sections may not be necessary, but use at least 5 of them. So pick 5 of these to have them on your blueprint. Be sure that your measurements are to scale. I'll just explain what this means, are to scale. Someone may say, I have no idea what a scale is, or how, is it something like this? You might be thinking like, does it weigh something? It's actually the size. So when you're drawing something, that it's sort of the representing, if you look at it, anyways, I'll get into it later. Okay, remember to keep in mind the proximity of your areas to each other and circulation. The site plan blueprint does not need to be created on computer. It could be hand-drawn, but will still need to be neat and legible, which means you must use a straight edge, like a ruler. Okay, I have got some assignments where someone uses a crayon and they don't use a ruler, they're just drawing it freehand, and it's not good. All right, when you're looking at the marks, whoops, sorry, I'll just go down a little bit. You know, when number 3 is worth 50%, so number 3 alone, whoops, what did I just do there? Number 3 alone is 10% of your overall mark, if you can think of it that way. Okay, because 20%, this assignment's worth 20%, and question 3 is basically 50% of 20%, which is 10% of your overall mark. Okay, I'm not trying to confuse you with numbers. I'm just trying to let you put in perspective. Number 3 is basically the same value as your different midterm tests, or midterm test and your final test. Okay, so I have that. I'm going to stop sharing that, but I'm going to share with you the where is it here? The budget. Hoping you can see this. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. Thought I had it there. Okay, should be able to see that. So this is also on Blackboard right now under assignment 2. Okay, so this is a template that we've used. It's question 2 of the assignment 2, and it's what you use to fill in to complete and figure out the budget. So this is a lot easier than it looks, so don't get overwhelmed by this. Only fill in the pink areas. Okay, this is the pink area right down here. So don't worry about the yellow or orange color. This is an example. Okay, so, and as you go down, you can see that there's only some pink areas right up here. Okay, and then down below. Okay, everything else you don't need to fill in. Okay, so name the facility or center. Okay, so what are you going to call your facility or center? You know, it could be the Rec Center. All right, and this is just examples. So these are indoor areas, the square footage right here. These are an example of the size of the areas in square foot. Okay, so totals to 52.9. My example give you to get you sort of thinking about the size of things. So this gymnasium, 20,000 square feet. You're going, I have no idea how big 20,000 square feet is. It could be the size of my bedroom, or it could be size of a hockey rink. Okay, well, we don't know, but I'm going to tell you right now that 20,000 square feet is about the size of a hockey rink. It's basically what you do is take the width and the length and multiply them together. So if your hockey rink is 100 feet wide and 200 feet long, you come up with 20,000. It's that simple. Okay, if your bedroom that you're sitting in is 10 feet by 10 feet, we just multiply 10 by 10, and what do you get? You get 100. Okay, so we know that other areas, you know, if it's a pool is 5,000. Just think of a hockey rink as being 20,000 and half a hockey rink would be about 10,000. And then you get down into smaller areas. I usually use the example of our fitness center on campus, but not many of you have been in our fitness center on campus, so I won't try use that example. But to understand that a hockey rink's about 20,000, and an office area 10 by 10 is 100 square feet. So you can figure out, if you design a facility that's a multi-purpose room and it's let's say it's I don't know, 20 feet by 30 feet, well, that comes out to 600 square feet. All right, it's that type of calculation for this. So what you do when you're figuring out your ultimate facility and you have all your indoor areas, okay, if you don't have a gymnasium and you have a, I don't know, just change the name of it, skate park. All right, and then what you do is you would put down, well, I'm going to have a 30,000 square foot skate park. You can see that how down here it just totals automatically, 30,000. Then I'm going to have a, well, I'm not, maybe not going to have a fitness center. Why? Maybe I will have a fitness center in the skate park, but I'm going to have a 5,000 square foot fitness center. And then I'm going to have change rooms. I'm not going to have a multi-purpose room, but I'm going to go, the change rooms, we're going to have two change rooms that are 3,000 square feet each, so 6,000. You can see how it's adding up here. And I'm just going to say, well, there are some office areas. Maybe we have 10 offices and there are 100 square feet each, so we have 1,000 square foot office area. And then your corridor and space, it's usually 10% of your area. So if you say if you have 40,000 square feet, you're going to go, or 42,000 square feet, I'm going to go, that's my corridor and support space is usually 10%. And let's say you have some outdoor areas, you're going to have you don't have a multi-purpose sports field, but you have another skate park outdoors. So the other one was indoors. And this one is also going to be outdoors. It's going to be even bigger. It's going to be massive. It's going to be 2.5 times the size of an ice rink, 50,000 square feet. Okay, so now we have our indoor space of 46,200, our outdoor space of 50,000, and all these numbers have just actually populated because that formula's in there. You don't have to change anything. Okay, so we are not, let's see what we're at. We're at $11 million. So for these numbers here, okay, when it comes out to our total of 46,200, it automatically calculates the cost of your facility. Okay, the subtotal. There's other costs that I have in here as well that we will talk about. So when you're building certain areas, you have costs that are associated with it. These are for information. Okay, so the site survey, the soil investigation and engineering, these are standard costs that we put in here. Okay, site plan control, including stormwater management, is another cost. It's just being populated from the size of your facility up here in the pink area. These numbers are automatically generated. You don't have to really worry about them. Okay, design consultants. All right, we're paying $700,000 for design consultants in this one we're working on right now. Someone's trying to get in. The legal review, $5,000. Building permit, you're paying over $100,000 for a building permit. The land, we're saying that you already own it. And we're giving us a contingency fund of $200,000 in case we need extra money. So subtotal, we're at $1.4 million in the construction data up here. Then as you move down to the building, we found out that our indoor facilities, which I talked about earlier, are $200 a square foot, and it automatically calculated to 9.2. So when we put in our size of our areas up top, down here it goes to 9.2. So let's say We know it's 9.2. We're going to have a physio room. Well, let's look at a, we're going to go to a storage room. We need a storage room. It's going to be a large storage room. It's going to be 2,000 square feet. We come back down here. Now it's 9.6. We can see that it went up. Okay, just by adding in different, if you had a multi-purpose room, that's 5,000 square feet. What's it at now? It's at 10.6, so it automatically goes up. Our outdoor facilities, which are $50 a square foot. So we have this amount, 50,000 times 50. We know that if we multiplied those two out, 50,000 times 50, we get 2.5 million. So the difference is that indoor facilities require more support. You have a roof, you have walls, you have heating and cooling and lighting. You might have lighting outdoors, but the indoor facilities cost $200 a square foot, and that might not be accurate for today's building costs, but that's a number we're working with. Our outdoor facilities, because you don't have your walls, roof, heating, cooling, you may have lighting and electrical and things like that, but it's only $50 a square foot. So that's the difference. So we can see that our subtotal, we're at just over $13 million. Okay, and we have some other things like landscaping is going to cost 50% of the building. So let's come up to almost $2 million in landscaping that this spreadsheet has calculated. Okay, now our subtotal is just over $15 million. And a construction contingency, another contingency is the extra money in case you need to make changes along the way. You have $600,000 there. Your subtotal is now at 15.7 million. Okay, we have to add HST because you have tax on everything. $2 million just in HST. Then our subtotal now is at 17.8. And we have to pay for signage in our building, which is over 200,000. And last thing we need to calculate, so this is another pink area right here, is the equipment in our building. All right, so it might not be the fitness center. We might have the, what we call it, escape. What we do have a fitness center. We're gonna don't have a gymnasium. We're gonna call this a skateboard. Okay, we didn't have a pool. So let's say our fitness center, what we're doing for our facility needs is approximately 10% of the building construction cost subtotal. So right up here, building construction cost, right, subtotal. When we look over here, what is our building cost oops, sorry, I can't highlight that. Is our building construction cost subtotal is just over $13 million, right? And if we took 10% of this, would be approximately, let me just change that. Would be 1.3 million. So 13 million turns into about 1.3 million. Okay, so just 10%. So we just divide out the 1.3 million throughout the equipment. So in our fitness center, we're going to use $500,000. In our skate park, we're going to use another $500,000. So what are we at? We're at 1 million. We still are going to spend another $300,000. And we're going to put our outdoor facilities, we're going to spend 200,000. And in our furniture, we're going to spend 100,000. So this equipment cost is 10% of our building construction cost subtotal, which is 1.3 million, and that's what our total is right here, 1.3 million. So now we come down to the total estimated budget, pre-construction, construction, and post-construction cost. So it's totaled it all together, and we can see that right now that the skate park we just designed is 20.7 million. Okay, so in here, I know I've talked a lot about numbers and it might sound confusing. The only areas you have to fill in are the pink areas here, the size of your different areas, indoor and then outdoor, and then your equipment needs. That is 10% of your building construction cost subtotal. Okay, so it's not too difficult. There's lots of information in here, as I've just gone over, with the different other costs that are associated with construction, which is all in this orangey yellow color. But the only areas you need to fill in are the pink areas. Okay, I've tried to make that as simple as possible, so don't get confused that this column D, this column is example information. It says that right at the top. Okay, that's an example I have for you to follow. Column E, the pink, is the areas you fill in. You are able to change the names depending on what the facility is you're designing. You would change these as well if you want. You can change these names too. Okay, this spreadsheet is on Blackboard, and let's say you start using it and you mess up something. So let's say you delete a number here, or you delete this number by mistake. Well, I usually just hit Control Z, but if you don't do that, you don't know how to do that, you can just open the file up again from Blackboard. Okay, there's all it. You can start over on Blackboard. Okay. Now, are there any questions that you might have at this point? Sorry, I couldn't really hear you.
Sorry, just a moment. Yeah, so this is just the second part of the assignment, like the budget, and everything else to be figured out by us, right?
You are correct. This is just question 2 of the assignment.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is.
So
it's just there's question 1, there's question 2, and question 3. Question 1 is the project statement. Question 2 is this budget template I just went through. And question 3 is the actual drawing of the facility. So those are the 3 areas. I wanted to go through this budget area so you could understand how it works. Some people have never used Excel before and may not be familiar with it. I just wanted to go through the areas that are required for you to fill out so you're not overwhelmed by using this program, and you can see how simple this part is if you follow my instructions. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
All right, and remember, we have 2.5 weeks, so if there are questions, I recommend that you play around with this spreadsheet just to get used to it and to see how it works. You don't need to know a lot about Excel. All you need to know is the size of your areas and the equipment needs, and then you come down to your bottom price, which is here in this example that I just did, was the 20.7 million. One of the requirements in the assignment is that your ultimate facility needs to be more than $15 million. So if this price, if for some reason I only had a 3,000 square foot skate park, you can see that the cost now is 12.7 million. So we know that to increase the cost, total cost of 12.7, we'd have to go back up here and make our facilities larger, right? Because we know the larger they are, the more they're going to cost. So that, changing that to 30,000 square feet has changed it to 20.7 million. Okay, so play around with it. We can talk a little bit about it again next week. If I'll just bring it up. I usually bring the assignments up every week just so everyone understands the has the opportunity to ask any questions. Okay, so that we will touch more on the requirements of assignment 2. So this is sort of the part in the course that we are talking about designing and developing and building and that sort of thing. All right, so let's, it is 8:40. We have some time now to go towards our, let's see if we go here. Okay, we'll go there and see if I can, hold on a second. There we go. There we go. Maybe not. Okay, just trying to get my screens to work. Okay. Okay, we talked about that stuff. All right. Where are we? Where's my mouse? There. So we are going to, so what, let's have some, hopefully we can get some discussion, hopefully get some people in the comments to provide some discussion as we're looking through these different slides. So we're going into chapter 3, and in chapter 3 we're going to be learning the basics about rec facilities, but in this we are going to be talking about sustainability and indoor and outdoor structures, and just designing facilities and private and public facilities as well. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about these now. So what other functions do you think a facility manager needs to be engaged in? So when we talk about functions, you know, we've talked about the skills of managing people in the building and finances, and what skills do you think you bring to a job as a facility manager? Each of you hopefully have some unique skills and some skills that you're good at. It might be with communication, it might be in other areas. And how can you run a facility more effectively with all these responsibilities? So if you're looking at a facility that you're operating, you know, what skills can you use to help the facility run more effectively? You have lots of responsibilities. You know, what do you think? Maybe give me some things in the chat. What do you think would be one of your skills that would be helpful to run a more effective facility with lots of different responsibilities? Excuse me. Time management, leadership. Thank you, Morgan and Brendan. That's great. Those were some of the examples I'm thinking of as well. I'm thinking of, how about, there's one, how about that is one as well, teamwork. Even some of these, you know, as a leader, as a manager, what other skills would you need? Oh, thank you, Sirkin. Problem solving skills. That was the one I was thinking of as well. One of the examples. And there's a few others in there. What about, you know, things like dealing with difficult customers? So that could be another skill that you need to, you know, to have as part of your skill set. Good. Maintaining work standard. That's good. Communications, very important in any sort of role. If you're, you know, one of your first jobs is flipping burgers at Wendy's or Harvey's, and communication is still important, right? Even if it's nonverbal communication. You know, if you look over at the person that is putting the condiments on the burgers, and you know, you can't come across their left-hand side and, you know, put a burger right in front of them if they don't know you're coming across there. So multitasking skills, good. John, organization. Super important to be organized. Fluent in communication. Thank you, Harmandeep. That's good. Organization. If you're not organized, life just seems a little bit better when things are organized. Everyone has a different level of organization, that's for sure. Can kind of take it so long, you know, when laundry day is coming up and your clothes are everywhere, and you know you're looking for that, you know, clean pair of pants to put on, clean pair of jeans, and it's like, okay, they're in this pile somewhere. But you know, if things, you know, once laundry day comes around and everything's clean, you know, you might fold them or you might leave them in the basket, but at least you know the stuff in the laundry basket now is clean and not dirty. So different ways of organizing. Everyone's desk has a certain place. Your workstation, maybe you feel comfortable working at a certain spot. So organization, the way you have things set up. Strategic thinking, thanks Vanel. That's good. So strategic thinking is important for that manager, for the person running the facility. Maybe not so much for the frontline worker, but for the manager, yes, the strategic thinking would be good. So very good examples here. One other skill that maybe we don't think of, but empathy. You know, people have bad days on the job. Some people need support in different ways. Providing empathy is I would say, a 21st century skill that is valued in all workplaces. So if you have a employee, have a visitor, have a fitness center member that, you know, needs support, something happened to them, they're not doing well, could be they're calling in sick, or they, you know, maybe their pet just died or something like that. You know, things are, you have to be able to deal with these things as a manager. You know, what have you ever thought about that? What would you do in those different situations? How would you know, would you say, oh, that's too bad, I feel so sorry for you, you know, but you're late for work? You know, is that the way you would handle it? Or, you know, would you be able to, you know, fill in, find a replacement for that person? You know, allow the person to take, you know, a sick day or something like that. So things like that you need to think about when, as a manager. Okay, let's see, where are we now? All right. Okay, we're not going to talk too much about this one because we do talk about emergency responses in sport in a full week of that. But we're going to skip over that one. Okay. Who do you think are the stakeholders for the college? We talked about this last week, the stakeholders. We know that the students are, and what priority should be given to each group. But I don't know if we got too much into priority, but we did talk about the different groups that use the facility. And I think we figured out that the students should have the priority, but you know, when we're competing for different time in the facility, then you know, what student group should have the best time? Is it the varsity teams that come in and play their sport from 6 to 8 or 6 to 10 o'clock? Or is it the campus rec staff? So maybe that's still to be determined, and it might be different in each facility that we operate and that we work in. Dealing with constituents, users, and applying the managerial function are necessary for managing a facility, but technology has significantly changed how facilities are managed. Okay, we're not going to get too much in technology right now. And sustainability. Sustainability refers to operating a facility while minimizing the long-term impact on the environment. So being green is another term for ways that a facility can be more efficient and lessen the negative influences on the environment. Okay, we will talk more about sustainability in the future. Okay, and all rec facilities are known as structures. So this will be, you know, we refer to, you know, what is the structure? What's your structure? What does the structure look like? Or what does the structure consist of? There is a differentiation between areas that are composed of natural environments, including mountains, lakes, streams, and forests, and planned constructed structures. That's a mouthful, isn't it? When we looked at the putting course, that was time lapse. that we showed last week, that we show that even the outdoor facilities are constructed, but not sort of built with walls and roofs and that sort of thing. So some of the examples of some indoor facilities, indoor structures, so sport arenas, gymnasiums, community centers, dance studios, museums, bowling alleys, swimming pools, resorts and hotels are all indoor recreation structures. And we look at outdoor pools, not as popular as they once used to be for some reason. I don't see too many, like I know there's outdoor splash pads, which you could talk about. Outdoor pools are part of it though. Does anyone have any outdoor pools in their community that they live?
Yeah, had a bunch.
Oh, and where do you live?
Well, when I used to live in Toronto, I used to lifeguard at a bunch of outdoor pools, so they're fun.
Okay, so I would say, yeah, exactly. Was that Jack? Sorry, I don't know who that was. Matt, sorry, thanks, Matt. I would say Toronto would be a good example of outdoor pools. I used to swim in one near Yonge and Eglinton. I don't remember if you ever worked at that one, but it was a big one out there. But I think Toronto just being probably has more outdoor pools, yeah. But not the smaller towns. I know Barrie used to have one by the YMCA, but then they ended up filling it in, and now the YMCA just got torn down, so that doesn't exist any longer. And Jack, where do you live, Jack?
I live in Collingwood, but there's one in Stayner about 20 minutes away from me.
Okay. And actually, Collingwood has the, what do they call it? It's Splash or something?
The plunge at Blue Mountain.
Oh, plunge, that's it. It's sort of indoor outdoor, isn't it? I haven't been to that, but it's kind of, yeah. So there are some outdoor pools that do exist. Not lots of them though. I don't think it's, maybe in the larger cities they have more. Maybe it's cost efficient to have them outdoors. They're probably only heated by the sun. I don't know if too many of them have, if they heat them by pool heaters or not. Anyways, other things, tennis courts. What's the latest fad that we have seen? Not fad, I don't know. Maybe it's a fad, maybe it's a trend, that tennis courts might not be tennis, but it's another sport that we've been seeing that more, I guess, senior people are playing that may be a bit easier than tennis. Can anyone tell me what that sport is that is using smaller courts than tennis? Uses a paddle and ball. Pickleball. Thank you, Morgan. All right, Sydney, Morgan. Yes, you both have a correct answer. Circle squash. Good try, but not squash. That is, I maybe wasn't describing it like that, but pickleball is, I know, fairly popular indoors and outdoors. Golf courses, playgrounds, stadiums, parks, beaches, and ski resorts, all outdoor structures. So even ski resorts are constructed. They may cut down the trees. They'll probably do lots of landscaping with bulldozers and that sort of thing to construct the hills. At least in Ontario, at Blue Mountain, no, not Blue Mountain, Mount St. Louis, Moonstone area, they have built up a few to make higher elevation. They have actually added to the top of the hill. So that happens. And okay, so we are actually over our break time. So right now it's 8:54, and we're going to stop here. But I think, let me just see if I have this. Oh, it crashed my program. Darn. Okay, sorry about that. It worked for me last night, and now I'll have to get it going. But we will take a break till 9:05. Okay, and then we'll come back and at 9:05. Okay, we'll see you in 10 minutes.
over 500, the Encyclopedia of Cool since 2009. And did you know that the largest artificial climbing structure in the world is over 540 feet tall on the side of a dam in Switzerland? Today we'll be taking a look at 10 of the most incredible climbing gyms from around the world, from Switzerland to Tokyo to Chattanooga. Stick around. Long before they were abandoned, these silos in Montreal held mountains of sugar. The old Red Path Sugar Refinery is now home to Alea, a bright and modern climbing gym built in and around the old silo structure. Alea spans 13,000 square feet of climbing space with a lot more vertical real estate above. It's possibly the most exciting climbing gym in Canada, which puts it pretty high up in the running for the best in North America. This climbing gym is built for the students of 3 public schools in Dordrecht, the Netherlands. Its climbing walls are a small part of a larger sports facility, but they're presented as the gym's visual centerpiece. From a distance, the large geometric windows outside break up the rectangular building, hinting at something pretty special inside its walls. The design nerd in me is excited about this one. It's a contemporary climbing gym in northern Italy that prepares climbers for alpine adventures throughout the year. It's wrapped in this wild, wavy fascia that is partially transparent, allowing daylight in while showing the nature of the space to the neighborhood around it. The ripples of the fascia almost resemble the topography of northern Italy and the dramatic mountain regions that extend far to the north. That makes both the design and the function of the building entirely focused on the sport of climbing. The Aloya Fitness Club sports what might be the most unusual climbing gym in the world. Instead of your typical climbing holds, it uses symbols of interior design that are recast in plastic. Its walls are covered in climbing holds that are shaped like picture frames, mirrors, deer heads, bird cages, flower pots, you name it. It looks like art, but it's built for sport, which makes it a fitting design for exercise in Tokyo's fashion district. This climbing facility is not for the faint of heart. The Excalibur climbing tower in Groningen, the Netherlands, spans 121 feet from base to tip, which makes it the tallest freestanding climbing structure in Northern Europe. That's the equivalent of an 11-story building, but one so narrow it barely occupies a parking space at its base. Just imagine this thing swaying in the wind when you're 100 feet up. Compared to this next climbing wall, the Excalibur Tower is barely an appetizer. The Digue-de-Luzon Dam in Switzerland has been fit with climbing holds that extend 540 feet in length. That makes it the world's largest artificial climbing wall, more than 3 times taller than the next highest facility. It's absolutely massive, traversed each day by climbers that are barely ants compared to its scale. It's a bucket list kind of climbing wall, one that travelers from around the world have traveled right here to experience. Back in the States, this new facility in Chattanooga, Tennessee was recently called America's coolest gym by Climbing Magazine. High Point Climbing is a modern, vibrant facility with glass exterior walls that mimic the angled climbing structure inside. Climbers can scale walls both indoors and out thanks to a facility that features 30,000 square feet of total climbing surface. My favorite part? The glass walls on the outside are totally climbable, so you can go up 3 or 4 stories above the ground and just hang out over the busy traffic below. It doesn't matter where you work, chances are your office is not this cool. Brooklyn Builders is a young co-working concept that lives in 4 cities around the United States. It's part shared office space, part gym, part climbing facility. You can get in a day work at a desk upstairs, then sweat it out in the evening on the climbing walls. It's the kind of place where you want to spend both your work day and your free time. All it really needs is a restaurant and a bedroom. We got to show a little love to our local climbing gym in St. Petersburg, Florida, the newly opened Vertical Ventures. Our friend Chris Brown recently completed this 20,000 square foot climbing gym with over 100 climbing paths throughout. It's the largest climbing gym in the state, and it was designed and built by the crew at Vertical Ventures. One gym we'd include here deserves a special look on its own. Rocktown Gym in Oklahoma City occupies an abandoned grain elevator right in the heart of the city. We visited Rocktown Gym last summer while shooting a short documentary on the rise of the city. If you love climbing, you'll definitely want to hit this link and check out Rocktown Gym for yourself. Thanks for watching. I'm Seamus Payne of thecoolest.com, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and share it with your climbing buddies. I'll see you next time.
Okay, it's 9:05. Time to get back at it. If you're sticking around during the break, I did play a video on cool climbing gyms. Since we are talking about designing facilities, I thought that'd be quite appropriate. Hopefully some of you got to see that. If not, I do have the link in the slides. So right now I'm going to just share with another article that was kind of interesting, I found interesting. Since again, we are talking about being creative and designing our ultimate facility. So an article here, Temples of Alternative Sport, the world's 10 coolest sports facility designs. If anyone's into boarding or even biking, scooters, you can see here that it is an outdoor facility for that, and a skate park. And I'm just trying to think of if they tell us where it is or not. Not too important of where it is, but let's look at the next one. Archery Hall and Boxing Club by FT Architects. All right, so you can see here quite a complex ceiling design here. What's this playing down here in the corner? Hold on. Very cool looking. Wood is always something that makes facilities look very cool. Go down a bit further. Equestrian Center. I don't know if any of you are into horses or riding or that sort of thing. You can just look at the structure here. I'm sure off on the left-hand side is the arena. Looks like they have a golf cart to get around and a tiled floor. This is really high-scale horse riding area. Let's see what next is. Equestrian Center. All right, when you just look at this one, it's a pool. Very interesting looking type of pool, indoor pool there. So again, using imagination. All right, this is a, sports and art facility by BIG or BIG. Now you can see here, kind of a cool thing is that this field here has an inclined end zone. I believe they use for fans. A multi-purpose hall situated 5 meters below the ground in the courtyard of the school, new arts building. Multi-purpose hall, adjacent football fields, parts of the building placed beneath the football fields. The roof of the multi-purpose hall above the ground is curved with a deck wooden surface that serves as an informal meeting place for students. The edge of the roof is also perforated with small windows to allow natural light. We talk about the curved timber framework of the roofs. Okay, so it's very hard to get all the examples here, but you can see the walking path, the field, quite unique looking. And if any of you are into rowing or paddling, we have a boathouse design here, quite interesting looking. We know that these things are super long. I don't know the exact length of the 8-person boats, but they are long, 30 feet maybe. Okay, next one. Oh, the same one there they had on the title page. Another Equestrian Center. Very cool looking here. Lots of mirrors at the end. Nice roof, open concept. We have here a cultural, sometimes it's hard to get right on the screen. Cultural and sports center. Okay, definitely pushing out the design limits there. I don't know if anyone's been to the Art Gallery of Ontario. Quite a unique addition that was designed there, where parts of the building hang over the road. Here we have a kiteboard and windsurfing center. So very cool that these cables are hooked up to a track that pulls people around a lake. Or this could be, sorry, this one actually, my mistake. This is a harness that the person's wearing, and it's a kiteboarding. So my mistake on that one. But there are some that you can see that it looks like they use shipping containers almost in the design in the back. So I wonder if they say that in the description. Yes, 37 portable containers. Okay, very cool. Maybe some of you know people that actually have designed their homes with shipping containers. And here is one of the Brooklyn boulders. That's actually one of the ones that was noted on the video that I played earlier. Brooklyn boulders, very supposed to be a cool place to live or to work and to climb. And that might be it. Okay. So I just want to give you some sort of inspiration to when you're designing your facilities. Okay. All right. So let's go back to share this screen. Got it. Okay. So no two rec facilities are exactly alike, and design reflects the influence of certain factors such as the core product, excuse me, architectural interest. So you're going to be the architect. You are figuring out what is the core product, environmental considerations, efficiency needs, and legal requirements. The personality, attitudes, and interests of the owner, which is yourself, can be reflected in the design. All right, so be creative and give me something I've never seen before. Okay. Now maybe here you can tell me or tell us as a group what is the most interesting rec athletic facility that you have been in or used. So obviously you probably, I don't think you've been to any of the ones that I just had shown, but in each community there may be some that you have experienced. I'm going to say one that I've been to is a climbing gym, because climbing gyms are really cool. If anyone has ever been to a Rock and Chalk, it's in Newmarket. Okay, Sensplex in Ottawa. That's good. Is that where the Senators play, or is that something different, Morgan?
It's their practice facility.
Okay, is that in Ottawa, like in downtown Ottawa?
I can't remember exactly where it was. I did a hockey tournament there a number of years ago, and
Great.
it was one of the coolest facilities I think I'd been in. So
Nice. Okay, excellent. Thanks for sharing that.
yeah.
And Jack, the Pan Am pool in Toronto. Now that's the pool that was created for the Pan Am Games. Is that right, Jack?
Yeah, it is. I used to be a swimmer, and I'd always go there for a meet, and then they'd always across the way from the pool, there's a ping pong thing, and they'd always be people playing ping pong that are like actual professionals. So you like be done your swimming, then go watch the ping pong.
That's kind of cool, right? Ping pong's one of those. It kind of mesmerizes you. It's like I can't believe some of like the people that are pros at it, how good they get, and it's pretty amazing. That's good. And I know that the pool, the Pan Am pool, that's a 50-meter pool or bigger. Like it's a big pool. I think that's where the Canadian team practices. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a 50-meter pool. It's I forget where it is. I think it's downtown Toronto, but I don't know where it is. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's kind of Scarborough area, but I'm not 100% sure. But good for you. That's awesome that you were able to use that pool when you were swimming.
The Pan Am Center?
Yeah.
It's on Morningside and off the 401.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matthew. All right. Any other facilities that people want to share? Maybe from their home. Maybe not a place in Ontario. Maybe it's something in a different province or a different country. I'm trying to think of other facilities that might be interesting. The one I picked was of Rock and Chalk. It's in Newmarket, and it is in an old grain area. It's not quite as big as the ones that were in the video, but it's right by the tracks on Davis Drive, Highway 9 in downtown Newmarket. And it's kind of, I would say, kind of a ghetto looking place. It's like not really pretty or nice, but it's kind of cool because it is in this grain elevator that you can climb in, which is, I thought, kind of cool. There's got to be some other examples out there of people on the call here. You know, we do have, how many people are here? We've got over 20 people, and we have like 2 examples here. So I'm hoping someone could give me some more examples of a rec facility that they've used that's kind of interesting. How about, okay, I have another one. What's it called? I think it's called the what's it called? Okay, so Ian's been to the Lake Placid Olympic facility. It's very cool. That gets me thinking now, because I have been to the bobsled run in Calgary. I didn't get to use it, but I know people that have used that. They have like as a tourist attraction now, Wakeboard Park in Muskoka. That's awesome. Now, John, can you tell me, does it actually have like a tow line that you can hook up to?
Yeah, so it's just in Bala, and it has 2 tow lines, like one big one and one small one. And yeah, so you rent out a wakeboard and helmet, and then you just hold on to the rope, and it tows you around, and you go off like jumps and whatnot. It's pretty fun.
That's cool. Is that on Lake Muskoka?
It's on its own little tiny lake, like, but yeah, right at Lake Muskoka.
Very cool. That's I know they exist around. I've never seen them, but I've seen them in person. I've seen them. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
very cool.
Right, Sirkin says Hyde Park in Germany. Can you tell us about that park, Sirkin?
It's a amusement park, like here in Ontario. Way bigger actually, but I mean, I have never been here in Canada's Wonderland, but I mean, it must be bigger than this.
That's awesome. And I see, Ian, as you mentioned, Olympic facilities. I think, you know, I don't know if it's millions or if it's billions or millions of dollars are spent on some Olympic facility. I think maybe Lake Placid was probably before things got crazy, like with Tokyo and Beijing and that sort of thing, with spending that type of money on facilities. The Winter Olympics are probably a bit less costly to construct, so there's no pool. There's like the ski jumps and the luge runs, which Jack just mentioned, luge center for the Vancouver Olympics. But the Lake Placid, was that 1980? I think the Winter Olympics were there, or I'm trying to remember what year that was. But I haven't been to those. I heard it's quite a nice spot, Lake Placid, and the Olympic facilities. What else am I thinking of that could be a good example of cool designs in this area? I'm even thinking of, I don't know if anyone bikes, but in Gravenhurst, there was a outdoor bike place called Buckwallow. It's closed down now. Kind of COVID had I guess it was just tough to keep it going, so that person closed that spot down. Buckwallow is a cool outdoor bike place, mountain biking. So Brendan, can you tell me about the Aurelia Rec Center? Have you been to it?
Hear me? Hello?
Hey Brendan, yeah?
Yeah, it just opened a couple years ago. It's very, very new. I've been trying to get into it, but I'm having issues just because COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
But it looks really, really nice.
It certainly does. It's like they went all out in this
Mhm.
facility. Like really, when you think of Aurelia, 35,000 people, and this type of facility they've constructed, I haven't been in it. I may actually have a link to it in this presentation, but it looks very cool. Are you from Aurelia, Brendan?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're probably looking forward to getting in there and using it.
Yes, I am.
All right. Okay. So when I'm going to shift the discussion a little bit here. Thanks for the examples, those that have participated here. Oh, Eden Garden. Okay, Prima, can you tell us about the Eden Garden Stadium, where it is?
It is in India actually, where I am from.
Calcutta.
And it's a cricket stadium.
Oh, cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Calcutta in India.
Excellent. And it's very popular?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very popular.
exactly it is.
Have you been to it, Prima?
Yeah, I have been to it like 2 or 3 times. It is very large, spacious, and it's been available for the events too, different events too.
Okay, but cricket is the main sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and the cricket pitch is round, correct?
Yes.
That's interesting. When you go, does your team usually win?
Sorry?
When you go to view a cricket match, does your team usually win?
Actually, like one time they won.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for sharing that. And what city is it in India? Do you remember what city it's in?
It's in Kolkata.
Kolkata? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so when we are looking at these different facilities, there are many features that are part of the design. So if we're looking at what we're going to do when we break into groups is to talk about the different surfaces of the facility. So if you're in a facility and walking through, we're going to talk, actually let me just pull this up. Let me just shift this for a second. Give me one moment while I locate what I'm looking for. I did have it available. It is assignments in class, and it's number 3, this one. Okay, let me shift the screen so you can see that. Get too many screens open right now. Okay, so when we break into groups, this is what we're going to be doing. Okay, so your name's at the top, 3. If there's a 4th person, add the 4th person here. So name. Okay, what you're going to do is usually we've always gone for a walk in the Georgian College Athletic Facility, but because most of you don't know that facility, but you could still do that facility use that one for this in-class assignment. So what I will ask you to do is search for a virtual tour of a sports facility. There's lots of them out there. You probably can find the Aurelia Rec Center because it's such a new one, but it could be Rogers Center or the Scotiabank Center, or there's all sorts of virtual tours out there. But what we're looking for are surfaces and lighting. So when we talk about surfaces, let's look at a floor. I'm just going to see the different areas. There's flooring, there's outdoor, there's walls, there's ceilings, and there's lighting. Those are the different areas. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different areas that I'm asking about. If you're talking about floors, name the different types of surfaces that are present in the facility. So on floors, we could probably say concrete floors. Was that how? I think I spelled that wrong there. Sorry. Concrete. We could have a ceramic tiles. Okay. Next one might be, maybe it's carpet. Maybe it's the shag carpet from the 70s. Other one might be, let's see, it might be a vinyl flooring. It could be, maybe it's a maple floor. Perhaps it's, and I'm just guessing on these ones as different. You can have a rubber floor that you find in a fitness center. What other ones could we have that might be in a facility? Maybe it's not only ceramic tile, but maybe it's a porcelain. I can't spell porcelain, can I? Porcelain tiles. Maybe it's going to be marble. You can see how many different types of flooring. We could have there's more. If you look at like a gymnastics sponge floor. Okay, so what we're going to do is break into groups. You're going to complete this. It shouldn't take you too long. Surfaces and lighting. Okay, I gave you lots of examples for floors just off the top of my head, but there could be others. And let's see. So this can be found on Blackboard. I think I can also put this in the chat, a link for this in the chat. I think that works, doesn't it? Let me see if I can do that. Upload from my computer, just to make this easier for you. Okay, it's in the chat. All right, so we'll do the breakout rooms, and I'm only going to give you, it's 9:27 to 9:40, so that's 13 minutes. All right, so you're going to find a facility, and you're going to write down examples of surfaces from those 5 areas. Okay. That's too many. I need more rooms. Hold on, just getting it ready. All right, I think I have to, there's too many people here. 1 second. Just trying to get this working properly. Okay, I am going to put you into rooms, and then I may have to shift you around, so give me like 2 minutes, all right? Let's see if this works. Oh, hold on a sec, I'm just trying to find the... Okay. Okay, see how this goes. I will see you in your rooms, but you have till 9:40. Hey, Jack, are you in a room or not?
It looks like I'm by myself.
I think you're still it looked like you left and came back for some reason.
Yeah, it like automatically took me out, and then it said rejoin, and I rejoined, and it took me here.
Okay, I'm gonna.
And it
Yeah,
says I'm in room 3 right now.
I know, but you're not. I know it's kind
Oh,
of
wait.
well, it's kind of like you joined twice. I'm gonna see if I can get. Oh, you're on hold now. Hey,
I think I figured it out.
okay.
There's like a thing whenever you go. There's a thing at the top that says room 3, and it takes me in and out. So anyway.
Okay, you go ahead.
All right.
and linear lights. And one is stretch ceiling lighting.
Hey guys, I brought everyone back into the main room. I have to apologize, the breakout rooms did not work as well as they did in other weeks. I have a feeling that Teams saved the settings from previous weeks and assigned people to the same rooms. And if you were present or weren't present, then things got mixed up. So sorry about, I know some rooms only had one person in it, and I know there was 2 rooms like that, and other rooms had 7 people in it. So I'm hoping everything went okay. So sorry about that. And I also realized from someone in the class mentioned that the tabs that I was talking about earlier in Blackboard were not visible to students. So I made those visible, which is good. Thank you very much for letting me know that they were not visible, and they are now visible. Okay. How do you call this type of ceiling, Sir Ken? I would say an exposed ceiling. Oh yes, sorry, Oriana had wrote. I'm just reading what you wrote. Exposed would be good. So that's awesome. Thank you. You can also call it sort of an industrial ceiling, but I would say exposed is most accurate. Okay. I'm hoping you did. Was that enough time or not enough time? I gave you a few extra minutes. I thought I always sort of underestimate the time needed, then end up extending it. So was the time okay for everyone? Ian ran out of time. Okay. No. Okay. We could have used 10 more minutes. Oh, interesting. Okay. No one had enough time. We just got 5 to 7 minutes. All right. Well, what I will do, since we are all just almost have those completed, I'll take a break right now, and I'll come back at 10 o'clock, which will be 12 minutes from now. And if there are blanks from that in-class assignment, you can chat with each other without being in the rooms, because I'm not going to go back to the rooms today. And you can, if you know who was in your group, you can just have a few minutes to chat to make sure you have all the blanks filled in. Okay. I'm hoping that will help. And we will rejoin at 10 o'clock, okay?
Hey, Christian.
Yeah.
Are you there? Yeah, have you written the names?
I'm still looking for a few right now.
Oh, so I just got. My name is Herman. Have you written it down?
Yeah, I have all your names down.
Oh, group name. Okay, I was just wondering if.
Yep.
Is there anything you're still looking for? Or are you good?
I just need the lighting.
Oh, just I told you told you name. Just give a second. I got 2, 3 more names. I'll just believe.
You throw them in the chat.
Just a second. I just told you the LED panels.
Yep.
Yeah, the linear lights.
Yep.
And stretch ceiling lighting.
What was that?
It was stretch ceiling lighting.
How do you spell that?
The stretch or the ceiling?
Okay.
And the natural light in the outdoor areas.
We also need a couple ceiling types.
I can look it up.
All right, thanks. Just throw like any answers you have in the chat kind of thing.
I put 3 in chat.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay, it is 10 a.m. I'm hoping that gave you a little extra time to fill in the blanks that you are missing. Again, you know, we're trying to do the best we can with what we have and to give you the proper amount of time. So I'm flexible and want to make sure that you do have the adequate time to complete in-class assignment in class. All right, so let's, as you know, as you usually understand, just email the in-class assignments to me. There's my email. I'm sure you all have my email by now since you have already emailed me assignments, but there you go again, just in case you need it. All right, I am going to shift back to the PowerPoint that I have going here. Got it. All right. Okay, so where are we? So as we are talking more about designing facilities and the product that is in the facility, what are the product, you know, how does the product influence? You know, if you're doing an ice arena, you know, an ice arena, if you're playing hockey or ringette or broomball or that sort of thing, then we know that we use it, it's designed a certain way. If you're playing, you know, if you're using it for skating or figure skating or something that maybe the size can be a little different, then there's a bit more flexibility. But no matter what the structure, fundamental to its existence is the production and delivery of the recreation product. And all facilities are built with the specific product in mind and involves human creativity and initiative while managing resources efficiently. Okay, so things to keep in mind. And the purpose, also a single purpose facility. Hold on a second. Get my mouse in the right spot. Typically only has one product that is developed and delivered. So, you know, some of the, what are, you know, can anyone tell me an example of what they might think is a single purpose facility? Well, swimming pool for sure. That could be. Is the old? It depends what you're doing with the. The only thing you are doing is you're in the water, but the purpose that you're in the water, is it that you are only swimming lengths, or can you set it up for lessons, or could you have a different, you know, different things like that sort of thing. So a soccer field, sure. Again, we could use a soccer field for playing different sports on Pujant. So we could play, you know, it might be, maybe it's not cricket, soccer on a soccer field, but maybe even though it's rectangular, you could play like cricket on a soccer field, possibly. You could play some other games. You could play football on a soccer field. You might not have the right lines, but a tennis court, sure, a tennis court might be the only thing you can do on a tennis court. And you see many tennis courts sit empty because that's the only thing you can do on a tennis court. Maybe it's especially if the nets are up. If the nets aren't up, you know, maybe kids can play a game of tag on there, or some other sort of low, organizational sports. Soccer field, Ivon, Iceplex. So Iceplex, it could be that I'm thinking of a location or a facility that can only use it for one thing. So the Iceplex, they could use it for figure skating, hockey, broomball, but it is only ice, right? You can't do anything else in there. They could take the ice out in the summer and play lacrosse or ball hockey. So I guess it's a bit flexible that way. It's ice all year. Okay, well, they are not very flexible. All right, that's the Vaughn Iceplex. Okay, that's why it's Iceplex and not Concreteplex. We have squash as well. Squash is The only thing I've ever seen in a squash court other than squash, because squash has kind of gone up and down in popularity, I've seen some fitness centers have actually, funny enough, right across the hall from me here, we do have a squash court on the Aurelia campus. Probably people don't know that. It's kind of hidden, but we use it as our group fitness room. So it actually has one of those little doors to get in, like smaller doors. Its walls all the way around, has a little balcony up top you can watch. The only thing we have done, it has a wooden floor in it, like an old squash court floor. It's the size, but on the walls we did put up what they call like the sound insulating things on the wall. So we hung some barriers on the wall just so it doesn't echo so much. But Taylor, the golf course, yes, that might be, as you are thinking of, the only thing that can be done is golf is pretty well the only thing that you can do on a golf course. Maybe if you're pushing it in the winter, you might find snowshoeing or cross-country skiing, but a lot of courses don't allow that either because it would damage the greens or the grass. So good examples. Thank you for also can be water polo, okay, etc. Yeah. So we have to think of single and multi-use facilities. So what are some multi-use facilities? So I think I'll help you out with this one. Just with multi-use, we have a lot of our community recreation centers are multi-use. When you go to East Bayfield Community Center, Holly Rec Center, thank you, Ian. When you see a ice arena, fitness center, childcare, and then if you even look outdoors, I believe there's soccer fields and other areas all around Holly, so that's quite good. Allendale Rec Center, you can think of all your different community rec centers are mostly multi-use. Morgan, thank you. The YMCA is 100% multi-use. And so as we look here at my little photo I have with the single purpose, golf course is pretty well single purpose. So thank you, Taylor, with that one. And multi-purpose facilities incorporate 2 or more products. Multi-purpose facilities may create more complicated management responsibilities. So you might have a director of aquatics, a director of fitness, director of the ice arena, a director of all sorts of different things. You may have different managers, or you may have one director of recreation that oversees everyone. So depending on the facility and the products delivered is the type of management you would have to provide for that facility. I know in Innisfil they have the YMCA and the city partner together to build the Innisfil Rec Center. So they have hockey on one side and they have swimming and the gym on the other side. It's kind of a cool concept they did there, cool design in Innisfil. Okay, here we are with the Morgan's example, the YMCA. So YMCA is a multi-use facility. So there you go, Morgan. And public versus private. Now, what's the difference between public and private? Public, we will say, is funded by tax dollars in the community, and private would be a privately owned facility. When you look at fitness centers, you have lots of examples of privately owned fitness centers. When you look at LA Fitness, Fit for Life, World Gym, and so on. And there are some ice arenas. The one in Alliston is just slipping my mind right now. I always seem to forget the name of the one in Alliston, but there's a private place in Alliston. Can anyone remind me what that is? Somebody's got to know the Alliston. Where's my mouse again?
Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the Comsith Rec Center?
There's a rec center in Alliston that's a privately owned one.
I know that like the new Tecumseh Rec Center is public, but
Yeah, it's not that one. It's the
Allison Memorial Arena.
No, it's closer to the highway. What the heck's it called? Oh, it's gonna come to me, but it's the it has a hotel attached to it.
Oh, the Nottawasaga.
Nottawasaga, thank you. Thank you. Who was that? Sorry, I didn't see your name.
Christian.
Christian, thank you, Christian. Yes, Nottawasaga, thanks for that. Started out as a hotel, and they ended up building a double ice pad. They also have a soccer field out front. So they also have golf course, but is private. Nottawasaga is a private ice arena. They also have NTR in Barrie, and I think it's also London maybe, has the national training rinks, which are the 3-on-3 rinks. Those are private ice rinks. So there are different examples of private as well that we can find in our local area. Okay, public, based on the philosophy behind recreation facilities to create a service-oriented operation to meet the needs of the citizens in the community. Get my slides in order. Citizens who pay taxes for the operation and construction of the facility. So when you get East Bayfield, Holly, those sort of one, TNT down in New Tecumseh, they're operated and built with tax dollars. Okay, and in public, there's some examples. So the sports complex of Parks and Rec, community centers, swimming pools, beaches, public tennis courts are definitely some examples. Funding options to support these types of facilities vary based on the type of facility and politics involved. And we have the private facilities and rely on the income generated from the product for facility construction and management expenses. Without adequate income, privately managed recreation facilities could not remain open. Now, we could also argue that the public facilities also rely on income. So not only do they charge us taxes or charge us with our taxes, our income, our property taxes, but also when you go to play, if you go to public swim, they used to call them free swims, but free swim that you have to pay to go to. So, you know, you may pay $10 a family, $2 a person. There's sort of a balancing act that public facilities try to find. So with, you know, when you go into play pickup in the gym, can anybody go in? Is it all free, or do you have to pay a few bucks? Usually have to pay a few bucks. There's not too many. There are some, it might be even the public skating. When you go to an ice arena and it's like a public skate open, it's open like an hour or two for skating, you're paying to go in. So even though it's private, you are still finding that you are paying some, and they do rely on some income. Private, so the golf courses, fitness centers, sports complexes, hotels, and resorts, that's the Nottawasaga there. Marinas are some examples of private, but we know there's also, you know, the YMCA is more like a public, or you know what, the YMCA is a private as well because it's not run by city dollars, but when you look at the fitness centers in the multi-use facilities, and I'll use the example again as East Bayfield or Holly, then those are public. Okay, so the development stages of a facility. So when you're putting a facility together, there's certain stages that you go through, and these stages are assessment, planning, design, construction, and management. So assessment is figuring out, well, we're going to talk about each one of them. Assessment, here are the 5 different areas. Assessment should be conducted to determine the need of the facility. So this could be ongoing with a management board to determine the ongoing needs. So if you have a community that you live in and there's been a need for a new facility. So does anyone on the call live in Wasaga Beach? Wasaga Beach residents here? No one from Wasaga? Well, we just I just heard the other day Wasaga opened up a new athletic. You still live there 50 minutes away, so Morgan. Wasaga just opened a new facility, I believe. Aurelia's opened a new facility. So before those facilities open, if who was from Aurelia? Might have been Morgan. I'm trying to remember. Brendan. Thank Brendan. So before the if you've lived in Aurelia your whole life, you know that the Rotary Place, the arenas, before that was built, and before the Aurelia Rec Center has been built, it was a pretty sad state in Aurelia as far as ice arenas. You had the Aurelia Rec Center, which I called it, which was the old arena, which was kind of cool because it was one of those retro places where you played hockey and skated. It was kind of like, actually the ice arena was downstairs and all the change rooms were down like a concrete stairs. And then there was the Brian Orser. There's the Brian Orser Arena, which is even smaller. Thank you, Brendan. The Brian Orser and the Aurelia Community Center. Do you remember the Aurelia Community Center? It's ripped down now. But those were the only two arenas in town. Then they built the Rotary Place, and now they have the Aurelia Rec Center, which they're calling the new place, but the old arena was called the I think it was called the Aurelia Rec Center. Anyways, my point is, when those old facilities are in place and they grow outdated and old, and the old Aurelia Arena was so bad, before they shut it down, they had to put support. It was like that. It probably held about 2,000 people, I'm guessing, and all these old wood stands. And before they closed it down, to keep it open, because they knew they were building Rotary Center, they put these massive steel beams from the floor to hold the roof up, because it was, I guess, as far as engineering, it was not safe. The roof could have collapsed, so they had to put these extra beams in to hold it up over the last few years. It was quite a thing. But assessment, when you have that sort of a facility in your community, you know that it's outdated, you know it needs to be replaced. That is the assessment that you're looking at. And that the community members could say, we need a new facility, there's no pool, and so on and so on. Planning, the steps are taken to formally review how a facility can be modified or constructed. So the planning phase, the design, you design a facility by using architects, engineers, or consultants. Or for assignment number 2, you are the architects, engineer, and consultant. And then construction requires professional assistance of construction management firms, contractors, subcontractors, install all the building materials, finishings, and landscaping. And then management, after the building is constructed, you have the management in this that need to provide the expertise to produce and deliver the product, broken down the management of equipment, finances, employees, plus many other different areas in that facility. Okay, hold on, just finding my spot here. Now, indoor recreation facilities, the site, production space, main areas, and structural issues. We're going to talk each about about those. So the site, all rec facilities have to be located in a specific place or location, or a site. This receives a great deal of attention regarding how it will contribute to the delivery of the product. The makeup of the area can be significantly influence the facility and its development, and this is so true. Like if it's just not placed in the right area, it cannot be successful. When we were building the athletic center in Barrie, we had a choice to make. So at the time, we could put it where it is. So it's kind of like I don't think you've been to it, but it's kind of wedged in between C building and A building. It's kind of like a pie shaped, and then it kind of has the big gym at the back, but in the front is the last class and the bar and restaurant. And then it's like right in the center. It's right at a courtyard where there actually are picnic tables and that sort of thing. And then it kind of goes out back where it's where the fitness center, the multi-purpose room, the gym, all that. So it's right in the center of campus. The other choice we had was by the sports field, which is the Jamie Massey sports field now. It was that area. We could have got a little bit bigger, but it was going to be a few hundred meters from the center of campus. So at that point, we decided that it was more important to have the facility on campus, that you don't even have to go outside to get to enter into the area. So after a class, you could, if you had an hour off between classes, you could go to a group fitness class, you could go work out for a bit without having to use that time to travel to the facility. So maybe it'd take you 10 minutes to get out there, 10 minutes to get back. So maybe people would say, oh, I'm not going to go because it's too far. But also, you can see by the way that we designed it, the last class bar restaurant is very designed by the location it is in. They actually had to put the patio on the roof because there's no room for the patio in the front. The patio actually used to be in the front until they did the expansion. The patio is on the roof, so it's really dictated by the area they have to build the we had to build a facility. You think of other things that have come up in the recent times, like the Scotiabank Center where the Leafs play, the Raptors play. That's an old Canada Post building, downtown Toronto. You look at the Rogers Center was placed down in the old rail yards in Toronto, but downtown. I think if you look at most professional sports, that the more successful ones are found to be located in the city center. And sometimes these city center ballparks, hockey arenas, sports arenas are really dictated by the area that they can be built. So typical site issues include natural barriers such as rock formations, drainage areas, weather conditions, prevailing winds, all these different things. Now, can anybody tell me which ballpark this is? Very famous ballpark. Don't know if anyone's ever been to it. I have not. Fenway Park. Thank you, Jack. Now, one of the most famous things about Fenway Park is, Jack, I'm sure can tell us. Jack, you can put that in there. What's the most famous thing about Fenway Park? The Green Monster. Thank you. So if you look out in left field, there's a big green wall. Below it is the scoreboard. It's a manual scoreboard, I believe still, but on top of the green wall, there are about 5 rows of seating. Good luck if you can get tickets to that. But you can see the way the ballpark is designed, that in right field, there's some stands, and then it kind of diminishes off over to the green wall in left field. Now, you might think, well, that's kind of a peculiar design. Like, why would they ever put a big green wall in left field? So, it's not really a typical design that you would see for a ballpark, but because it's downtown in Boston, if this is another angle of the same ballpark, and as you look way on the right-hand side here, there's a road. So they really did not have any other room to put any other seating because the road is actually right there. So that would be the reason that the Green Monster exists, because there's just other buildings, there's a road that exists in that area. So this is just an example of what you would see when you go to these older ballparks. If you went to, I think it's Camden Yards is Cleveland. Is that correct? Maybe Jack would know that one as well. Camden Yards used, I think that's what it's called. A lot of the industrial buildings are in the outfield, and they've incorporated them into the design of the building. Like I mentioned in Toronto, the Leafs Raptors play in an old post office building, and they've used the outer part of the building for the design of that building. And as we look closer at other facilities, if this is one area that of Ontario that people might be familiar with, you have Ottawa, and then you have Canada. And the reason I have this on here is that the Ottawa Senators play their games in Canada, which is not in downtown Ottawa, not even close. In Green Monster, it's the Orioles, Camden. Okay, right. So it's Baltimore. Thank you. Thanks, Jack. So in Ottawa, the decision was made 30-something years ago to build the arena for the Senators in Canada. Now, more recently in the news, there was a developer that wanted to, or maybe it was the owner of the Senators, wanted to build a new arena in downtown Ottawa. It kind of fell through, but probably I would have to say that because the arena is outside Ottawa, yes, you can get there by public transit, but it's not as convenient as being downtown. It's not hooked up to the, you're not going to go out for dinner in Canada, most likely, and then go to the hockey game. Probably it's a bit more inconvenient. So that is just one thing to keep in mind, the proximity to where are your fans. Production space. The production space and its characteristics are vital to the success of a rec facility. So rec facilities are developed with the product. So the product space, production space, and specific areas are designed to enhance the production process. Hold on a sec. The main area space that is necessary for developing and delivering the core product is called the main area. Specific sizes, dimensions, and variety of technical considerations should be considered when it comes to design the primary product delivery area. Now, when we're thinking about that, does anyone know, can you tell me the size of a basketball court? Okay, I'll just type it in here for you. So that's the size of a basketball court, 50 feet by 94 feet. So that's pretty exact, right? You need that space to have basketball. If it's official, if it's not official basketball, you could do it different sizes. How about soccer? Does anyone tell me what the size of a FIFA soccer field is? Let's see anyone type in. Well, it's 100 by 200. But in soccer, it has a maximum and minimum, 105 by 68. That might be meters, maybe, I'm not sure. But there is a minimum and maximum. I think you might, Sirkin, that's probably meters. Yes, it's meters, yeah, FIFA. But there's also a minimum and maximum length. Have you ever seen in, it might not be FIFA, but the MLS soccer, has anyone seen the New York team where they play? I believe they play on Yankee Field, or they play I went to a TFC game. Oh, good, that's great. Some of the soccer teams in North America that are in MLS play on really strange sized fields. Like they may share a stadium with a baseball team, and the baseball teams, and they don't want them to play on the infield, so it's a very narrow field that the New York team uses. Pretty crazy, but for soccer, it is a minimum and maximum, and I think I have. I find this interesting, so I'm just going to plop this into the chat. If I can do this. Oh, it's not going to be really hard to see. Well, you can read it. So there are minimum maximums that you can do with a soccer field, so it can be somewhat changed a bit. But when you're looking at main soccer, yes, Sirkan, you did have the correct size there. Thank you. So for facility characteristics, when you were doing the surfaces of the facility that you chose, you can see that it gives the facility characteristic. So it gives it some uniqueness. So anybody can do, whoops, sorry. When you're looking at surfaces, anyone can do a concrete floor, but are you going to color the concrete? Are you going to, put down a rubber floor on top of it? Are you going to, you know, illumination, lighting? There's probably 100 different types of lights out there. You know, the lighting fixtures are another way to give it characteristic. The electrical systems, plumbing, finishes, acoustics. Someone just told me we're doing a renovation in Aurelia, so we're doing 4 different bathrooms. I would call it retrofit, maybe. So they've completely gutted the bathroom, and someone said for the 4 bathrooms for the sinks is costing $100,000. I'm going, that's insane. Like, what are they doing? So the sink actually, you know, most sinks, when you go up to, it has soap, water, and air all from the same faucet. You know, that's kind of a cool thing, I guess. So you don't have to, once you're, you know, getting the soap, it's right there. It's all in the one fixture that you're getting the soap, the water, and the air coming out of the same faucet. It's kind of a cool thing, but it sounds like a lot of money to me. Finishes, you know, sometimes you go into different washrooms and it's very industrial looking. It could be stainless steel. It could be very, you know, wood type finish. You go to a lot of golf courses, you see, you know, wood in the change rooms and in the washrooms. Oh, that's the one. Maybe that could be the one, Circa, the Dyson one. I think that could be it. Very unique. We have them in the Owen Sounds bathroom with a concrete sink. So very cool, the finishes. So interesting. I don't know what the price is on those, but thanks for searching that out for me as I talk about it. Dyson. Yes, Dyson has cool fans as well. No blades, just a circular or an oval opening. Acoustics as well, facility characteristics. So the acoustics could be another thing that could be unique. Climate control, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Also, I should mention with the lighting, illumination, I don't know if any of you put down natural lighting or windows or skylights as your lighting, because that is one thing that areas do use for lighting. In my office right here, right behind me, I have a window. I don't need lights on in the office because it has natural light. Although if I turn the lights on, it kind of makes me look like a silhouette. So I keep the lights off for being online here. Okay. Let's see, climate control. Where was I? Heating, ventilation, utilities, electricity, sanitation, water, communication. Different utilities, characteristics. So there are the options of using solar power. There's wind power. There's all sorts of different ways to get your electricity. Sanitation. Maybe females aren't as familiar with this, but the urinals in some men's washrooms they have waterless urinals. And I'm not sure exactly how they work, but to cut down and conserve water, they have, or low flush toilets that they use less water to flush the toilets. And then communication, we have also, that is another one of the utilities. So. Structural issues, one of the most notable aspects of any interior recreation facility is its exterior or structural appearance. Just get back here for a second. And when we're looking at the structural appearance, may be designed to help market the product, meet owner or administrative wishes, or create a level of attractiveness that makes a statement to potential users. When I was talking about Ottawa Saga a bit earlier, it's private. They have some of the nicest, like I've been to lots of hockey arenas. I played hockey a lot throughout my life. In the change rooms, you can get some pretty ugly shower areas. The ones at Ottawa Saga at the ice arena were marble tiles on the wall. Like, you don't find that everywhere. It's probably maybe a few other places that you may find that. Maybe the Magna Center. I'm not sure. I haven't been to the Magna Center, but Ottawa Saga, pretty impressed on the finish of that, making a statement. Structural issues. Okay, let me move on to So structural issues continue, the landscaping, irrigation, vehicle access, walkways, and parking. And one of the examples I have, so a new green campus was built, a new green college campus was built in the States, okay? But one thing was debated, where the grass should be and where they should be paved or put in walkways. So some felt the walkways should be around the edges, you know, like a border, and others felt they should be cut diagonal with connect all buildings to buildings. So one professor had the winning idea. So don't make any walkways this year. So they built this new campus. It could be like Lakehead in Aurelia or wherever. But at the end of the year, look at where the grass is worn away, showing where the students and the staff are walking, and just pave those paths. So that's what they did. So there's a link, but just, you know, instead of, you know, this is the location that people walk. Doesn't that make sense? Who would have thought that? Let's come back in a year and find out where the paths are worn away, and then just make those the walkways. Kind of a cool idea. I think more people should do that. Like, or if you walk around campus, I know you haven't been on campus. If you have been on campus, on the Barrie campus, you can see there's definite areas that people walk. Why do they not put walkways in these spots? Or if you look at schoolyards or something like that, you know you're never going to grow grass in these areas or any sort of vegetation. So why not put a walkway where people walk? Just one example. Okay, where are we now? We are getting close to the end of these slides in this chapter. And so it could be outdoor rec areas can be simple or complex. Outdoor facilities include natural parks, include sports complexes, waterfronts, water parks, amusement parks, golf courses, skate parks, ski resorts, lakes. And we know that, you know, we look at sport, they can be simple or they can be complex. That's as, I guess, as simple as I can put it. We know golf courses can be little maintenance, or they can be lots of maintenance, depending, or I should say maintenance. I should say the design. The design can be easily, they can incorporate the landscape and the topography, or they can mold it and form it the way they want it to look. And size of the space based on the core product needs, so topography and the land, so the MRF. So that was the Aurelia Recreation Center. Used to, what they called for years was the multi-use recreation facility, which it was, I don't want to click on this. I think it might crash this again, but I'm going to try it in a second. But what is a name? It was just not a very attractive name, MRF. I'm going to the MRF. So they got rid of that, and they ended up calling it the Aurelia Rec Center. Besides, look at the surrounding vegetation, stormwater, other things to consider, climate and production space. And so topography is the landscape. So that's where we are, the word topography. It's like looking at the, okay, you got trees, you have a river, you have streams, you have a beachfront, you have hills and things like that. So the many golf courses do take topography into consideration, but lots of them do a lot of formation as well to make them look the way they want them to do. And the, just seeing where we are here, outdoor rec facilities, we have layout, orientation, drainage, barrier and fences, landscape and surfaces, things to take into consideration. And outdoor facilities, access, utilities, lighting, irrigation, conveniences, and seating. There's some really good examples of irrigation on the Barrie waterfront where they had many, I shouldn't say many, they had several of these streams they had covered up. So when the downtown and around the water was being designed and developed 40, 50 years, 60 years ago, they covered up these little creeks. So what they've discovered more recently is that these creeks were areas where critters, wildlife, waterfowl would use as their natural habitat. So when they redesigned the Barrie waterfront over the last, I would have to say it's been 10 years because it's taken a while, they've uncovered these creeks, taken them out of these large culverts and pipes, and exposed them. So they have little banks, and there's grasses growing, and there's, you know, sure, there's lots of algae, and it doesn't look pretty. Well, it depends on what you think pretty looks like, but it now provides a spot for these ducks. It's the natural runoff from rainwater, and it looks more natural. It's a lot more inviting, and it really works into the area of the beaches, beach area, and the way they've designed it. They have some new bridges down there. So they've done a really good job of, I think, uncovering them and making them look a little bit more natural. Okay, where are we here? We are just going to go here, but I want to just show you if I can click on this. Is it going to crash my system or not? Probably. It looks like it is going. Oh, it opened it. Okay. Good. Before we are getting close to the end of our class time, and where does the time go? And I'm going to share with you. So the as I mentioned earlier, I did have this on my list of things to click on today. So the Aurelia Rec Center, as cool as it is for the city of Aurelia, looking at this, the budget of $55.5 million. It says open October 2020, but I think because COVID, it didn't open. Square footage of 137,000 square feet. So just think of it, one ice arena is about 20,000 square feet without the stands and without the change rooms. So look at this, the size of this is just, I think, quite large. And down here, I won't play any of these right now. Get a look inside our beautiful Aurelia Rec Center. And I can just, what I'll do for you, I will just drop this in the chat for anyone that wants to have a look at it. It is really quite cool to get a tour behind the scenes. They did lots of these really cool videos to show people what it's going to look like. You know, they started way back behind the scenes here at Pool, the progress report. Let's see if they have any. They have a 25-meter pool, a therapeutic pool, and a leisure pool. So 3 different pools, a gymnasium with 2 FIBA-sized basketball courts and viewing area. They have a childcare room, multi-purpose room, fitness center, including the studio fitness rooms, and a walking jogging track. So what they don't have ice arena there. That's okay, because they do have the Rotary Center. And let's see if they have any other. There are some really good information in here about, well, if anyone's looking for a job, I think they're hiring lifeguards right now. But you can see here a sort of an overview of it and the groundbreaking. So you can go from the oldest up to the newest just to get a good idea what is in Aurelia in the rec center. So congratulations to Aurelia for putting this up. And I won't go into too many other details on that. And what time are we looking at? 10:43. Okay, we are very close to our end of our time. I just want to touch on or talk a little bit about chapter 5, I believe it is. 1 second. Chapter 6. So before next class, please have a look at chapters 5 and 6. They are available in Blackboard, and I wanted to get to them today, but next week in class, we are going to go through 5 and 6. We're also going to break into groups, and we're going to be talking about how to design a facility. So that's going to be one of our main objectives for next week. All right, so at this point, I'm going to stop the recording and end the class. And thank you for attending today. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And I will stay on the line till everyone is left.